So we're here at Docklow Pools today for a little session. I've just been and got my fishery pellets, and today before we get started I'm going to give you 5 top tips on how to get the most out of fishery pellets and hopefully get more fish on the bank. So the first tip is all about adding flavour to your pellets. I'm not talking about changing the properties or adding stickiness, just simply flavour to your pellets. Particularly good in winter when sort of smell becomes a bit more important. So to do that, use absolute liquid flavour. Come in loads of different flavours, just suit whatever you fancy really. I've got a Power Scopex one here and it really stinks, but it doesn't really alter the properties of the pellets. So today I'm just going to simply prepare some 2mm pellets. Got some fishery ones here. Just going to pour what I need into a tub. Going to soak it for about a minute like I normally would. Just tip the water on it, just cover it. But then I'm going to add a nice little dash of this while they're being soaked. Wait a minute or so, and those pellets will, it stinks now, it'll soak up all that flavour and it'll be really potent and it'll make your pellets stand out more than the others. So the next tip is about adding oils to your pellets. Sometimes you buy fishery pellets and they're a bit light in colour, sometimes they can float even. But by adding oil to it, just a little slick on top, it can make sure all those pellets sink, and also importantly, it can slow the breakdown of those pellets. So what have we got? We've got the clear pellet oils. Again, they come in loads of different flavours. If you're into sort of a particular flavour that's working on a fishery, these are great for that. They're also sinking oil in this, so it sort of keeps the fish down on the deck if you like, and some people prefer that. Alternatively, which the one I quite often use is just a simple pellet oil, and it's keeping the flavours that are in the pellets. They're full of fish meal, so adding a fish oil makes sense to it really. So to do that, I've got some fishery pellets here, some 4s today. These are actually alright, to be fair. I'd be happy to use them, but just to demonstrate, we'll go for a bit of krill squid today, nice and fishy. All it needs is a little dash on that on top. Swish it around with your hands, make sure they're all slicked up. You could even do it at home night before the session or even weeks before. They keep nice and fresh like that, and they're good to go. Nice and simple. So the next tip is all about adding colour to your pellets. So I've got my 2mm fishery pellets that I prepared earlier, nice and soaked. All I'm going to do today is separate a little batch into another tub and to change the colour of them. I've got some haze today. We'll go for Power Scopex, it's bright yellow. Nice generous helping of that all over the pellets. The lid back on. Give it a little stir. And they take on that colour. Look how bright they are now. What I could do with them is, say if I was fishing a method feeder, I could try maybe a batch of coloured pellets, or I could sprinkle them into the pellets that I've already done, add a little fleck of colour, and sometimes that can make a difference. Particularly effective in winter, especially when the water's clear. You know, a bright visual bait like that can stand out on the bottom and it can get you those extra bites. Alternatively, if it's coloured, say pinks and reds can work quite well in coloured water. So it pays to sort of experiment, have a little play with colour, and see if you can get those extra bites. So the next one is all about kind of adding visual aids to your pellets. So first up we've got Fluoro Rocks, which is quite popular with bream anglers, adding to your ground bait and stuff. Just add in a few flecks to the mix, but alternatively you could add these to your pellets and make it sort of look like crushed boilies and sort of blend in with your bandams and stuff on the hook. So all you do with that is just sprinkle a few on your micros and you're good to go basically. You also do lava rocks, which also leak colour into the water. There's a few different colours and flavours to pick from, and that's great for, you know, adding that bit of attraction into the water and adding a bit of a cloud. Talking of cloud, one way to draw fish into the area of your bait, if you like, or adding a cloud to your feeder, is adding lava to it. All I do with this, I've got a method feeder ready to cast out. Just drizzle a little bit on top, cast out, and that creates a big cloud in the water, and hopefully those fish home into your bait. So the final tip is one product that I always have in my bag really. It's Bait Booster. Now on some fisheries you turn up and your micros don't really bind that well, but by adding this either while you're preparing it or during the session, it can make those micros just a little bit more sticky and hold around that feeder a little bit better. Like I said, these pellets that I've got today don't really need it because they are quite sticky, but by adding it to the water while you prepare your pellets and then draining them off, and then if they lose a bit of stickiness during the session, you can add a bit of this, a little bit of water freehands, mix it up again, and it just kick starts those pellets, makes them sticky again. Alternatively, if you're sort of mid-session and you want a bit of a boost, you're struggling for a bite, maybe a little drizzle of this just sort of gets that bit more attraction on your pellets and hopefully gets you that extra bite. So Bait Booster is one that I use all year round, even in winter when you need a bit of flavour on your pellets to get those extra bites. Alternatively in summer when the weather's hot, your pellets are drying out, adding a little drizzle to this can make those pellets work how you want it for longer. So there you go, they're my top 5 tips to give yourself an edge when using pellets. Give them a go next time you're on the bank.